Hello everyone, I hope you guys are doing well today. Okay, so today's our first two-part video. Now, I was not expecting to do a two-parter just yet, but the universe can work in mysterious ways sometimes. And I guess she thought, Brad, I think it's time for a two-parter. So we're gonna do a two-parter. So if you remember about 2 weeks ago, I replaced a skirt on a heavily beaded dress. Now this heavily beaded dress had a belt on it that was heavily beaded, and so I had to figure a way to take off the old skirt and put on a new one, because the reason why we were switching it is that the skirt was for, well, the costume was for a ice dancer, and she wasn't going to be jumping or anything, so I thought she could handle having a heavily beaded skirt, and that was not the case because it was throwing her off on one of her moves, and so they thought, we need to make this a little lighter. So we replaced the skirt on it. However, the fit of it was not super great, so I did not like the fit, so I wanted to fix that. However, there was a miscommunication between me and the customer. She still wanted to do crystals on it, just not as many to make it heavy. I was thinking she was saying, let's just take it all off and keep it normal. So we are going to replace the skirt again. Luckily, this is a good customer of mine who totally understands, and we have good rapport. So she understands that these things happen and she just wants to get it right. And I'm one who always wants to fix a problem if there is a problem with a costume. And so I will do what is ever in my power to make that happen. So we have the dress here, and we have to replace the skirt. Now I have already gone ahead and cut out a new skirt and panty, because the way that I'm going to do this is I'm just going to cut right below where the belt is, take off the panty and the skirt. Last time I left the panty on and I just laid the skirt on top and then covered the not so great looking bits with crystals. This time I'm going to cut the skirt and the panty off. I'm going to then pin the skirt underneath and then sew it. I think that will give a better fit to it, I hope. Plus then I can add crystals that will give it a little more weight. It just was kind of bunching a little bit right here around the waist. So what I'm going to do first is cut away the skirt from the bodice, the skirt and the panty from the bodice. So let's hope we can get this right, because as you remember last time when I was cutting into it, I was like, I hope this works. So I think we're all hoping that this works. So this is just a good lesson in, like, sometimes you gotta go at it a third time, hopefully not a fourth time. I think this will work, this way of doing it, because it will be like putting in the regular, like a regular skirt. I'm just gonna have to hand sew it in. All right, so I'm gonna cut this away. I'll do a little speed up, because you don't need to see me slowly cutting this off, and we'll get her then pinned in, sewn on, and then we can add some beading. All right, I'm going to do that now, and you just watch along, and let's hope that we can make this work. All right, we have gotten the skirt off. Now it's just the bodice. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flip her inside, like that. And then I can take the skirt, I'm going to flip it inside of itself so that everything is inside out. Then I will pin it down from the inside, and I'm gonna go up about maybe a half an inch or so, so that there's a difference between the top and where the top of the panty and skirt and the bottom of the bodice belt is. Will be about a half an inch. So I'm going to pin that in all around. All right, got it pinned. Now what I'm going to do is sew it. So I'm going to bring you over here, point you down so that you can get close up and see exactly what I'm doing. So let me move you over here. All right, now I've got you close up. Now, please bear with my fingers because I have been airbrushing today and I have not done a full scrub down. So I know my hands look gross. just ignore that and pretend that they are beautifully manicured and that they're not these artist hands. All right, so I've got it pinned in, as you can see. And then what I'm going to do, I already started a little bit. I'm going to just what I call whip stitch right around the edge of where the panty and the skirt are hitting the bodice. I'm going to go all the way around. Now this, this, like I said on the last video that I did, when doing this kind of work, it's not going to look super pretty. Sometimes you have to cover up with crystals and make adjustments. So just keep that in mind, that it doesn't have to look perfect. It just has to work. So you're just kind of whip stitching it along, and then we're going to go around the front and sew it down as well, right on the edge of where the beads are. So I'm going to continue going around. You continue to watch along, and then once I get done, I can show you how I do the front side so that we make it look a little cleaner. All right, I've got the dress flipped back out to the right side out, and I'm just going to stitch in between each of these crystals and sew it down. So I've already done it there, so it's nice and flat now. This up close is probably not going to look super great, but we want to get something that's going to work, because no dress working at all is, or a dress working over a no dress working is what we want, All right, so I'm just sewing in between, hand sewing in between each of these crystals. So I just kind of loop it like that, and then I go to the next one. Once I get it in, I just loop it down, and I'm kind of pulling with my hands. I can feel on the back of the dress to keep the dress kind of flat. So I'm just gonna loop so that it's sturdy. It's just as easy as that, and then it just leaves, a pretty good, when it's on it will kind of stretch a little bit, so hopefully those will come out. And I really hope this works, because like I said before, this is an expensive dress, so I think this will work better than what I did before. So here's to hoping. So I'm just going to go around. I'll speed this up. I'm just going to go around and sew it all down. I'm just going to move y'all back up to your starting positions while I do this, because it's kind of hard to lean over and get my hands in there. So you can just watch me full body doing this. All right, got her all sewn in. Now I can, I need to still sew up the panty, the elastic into the panty, so that she's finished off. And then we can do the beading. So I'm gonna do that real quick, and then we can start the beading on the edge of the skirt, and hopefully it won't be too heavy. I think we'll be fine, because I'll do just a little line basically around the edge just to finish it off and not do all that heaviness. This was the old skirt, if you want to remember. So it had the one little piece that came down. This was real heavy. So we're just gonna do, I think, right around the edge just to finish it off, and then I think we should be good. All right, so let's hope this is working. I'm gonna sew the panty together, and then we can do the beading. Stay tuned. All right, now we're ready to start this beading on the edge of the skirt. So I have a foam board here, 1/2 inch, like always, and I put parchment paper under it so that the glue, the E6000, which is what I use, does not stick to the board, because it will stick to the board and then you're going to be picking stuff up. Not quite, okay. So I've pinned it to the board just so that it's kind of as flat. It's pretty easy to do this skirt. It's not like doing the bodice where you need to like have it really flat. It's easy to just kind of lay it there. All right, I'm going to start with 40, some 40s and go up and then turn it into 30s and then do 20s just right on the edge. So what I do is I get a pin with a little pearl and I dip it into the E6000, and then I can pick up a crystal, put it in that hand, swipe it on, and you twist off so you don't get the little glue strings, and then you can just put her on. She stays exactly where you want it. Hopefully you can see that. Hopefully that's not too far away. All right, so again, just swipe on, twist. Super easy. Now this is just the way that I do it. There's many other ways with syringes and other types of glue, and I say you just need to find what works for you and go with it. This is just the cleanest way that I have found to use E6000. So try her out for yourself and see how you like it. So it's just a quick little swipe on, no strings, layer exactly where you want. All right, I'm going to speed this up because I could talk about just swiping and placing all day. So speed this up and get her done. All right, I got her done. Now, if you were seeing this video and I'm posting it, that means that it worked for the customer. But I believe that this is going to work. So just know, if you're seeing this video, the customer gave me the okay saying, we are good to go. So I am pretty sure that this is going to work in this moment in time here that Brad is in. But as you can see, we did the crystals along the edge of the skirt. We had a little bit of fuchsia crystals here on the fabric. And then, this isn't, when you're up close, it doesn't look terrible, but it's not the perfect way that I would have it if I were sending it out to a customer. But I think this customer will be happy with this if we can get it to work, because I know she said to me, maybe we should have just left it the way it was, because I'm afraid that we ruined the dress after she saw how it fit the last time. But I said, no, I think I can get it. I'm going to try it. Try a new form of attack. But as you can see, even the best of us have little issues, and we have to go back in and retool, fix it, and make it work. This is a good lesson that, that sometimes you just have to see, okay, that didn't work, this does work. So I will know for the future that the way that I did it before did not work. So if you're watching that other video, I hope you're watching this one, because that other way didn't work. However, this one's a little harder because it had these crystals on the belt. If it was like a V cut or something like that, I could have taken a little bit of the crystals off. But with this being the belt, if you take these crystals off, it's kind of ruin it, and they won't go back in exactly. But if you just had like a scatter or something, you can pull a couple of those off and then reattach them, and it will work fine. And then you can re-seam it the way that it was originally. But since this was so heavily beaded, I couldn't really do that. So I think this will work, and I think the customer will be happy. So I am happy if the customer is happy. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video, seeing this process and behind the scenes, because you know what? It's not always like shiny crystals around here. Sometimes it's like, pulling your hair out, trying to make something work. And that is just part of the game of doing this business, I guess. It's not all roses. Sometimes you get little thorns. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and we can move on to the next. However, I have decided that I'm going to take a new form of attack on doing these YouTube videos. It has been a lot of work and a lot of stress to try to put them together. I'm going to continue doing them. However, I think I need to go about this a little differently. I had hoped that it would be a little easier to get monetized, which to get monetized, you have to have 1,000 followers and you have to have 4,000 watch hours. I am at about a little over 1,000 watch hours now with these 12 or so videos that I've done in the last month. I was hoping that with my Instagram following, which is about 70,000 people, that I would get a good amount of them to come over here and check me out. However, I have found out that maybe it's a different audience, it's a different vibe, that what you know, the people who follow me on Instagram, which took me years to get to that 70,000, is a different, viewer than who is coming to find me here, which is fine. That just means we need to go a little slower, take our time. So if I'm going to take my time, I want to do it right. I feel like in the last couple of weeks, I've been finishing these videos right at the finish line of getting them, because I've been trying to do a Tuesday video and a Friday video. But that is putting a little stress on me, trying to get everything made and edited and posted in time for you guys. So I think what I'm going to do is take about a 2-week break for you guys. I'm going to continue to film, but I'm going to try to get some videos in the can, as they say, so that they will be ready to go. And I'm not finishing right at that finishing point, so that I have a couple of videos ready to go and I can start posting and then continue to make the content. And it's not stressing me out knowing like I've got to finish a video this week. I know that a video is finished and ready to go on Friday or on Tuesday if I continue that. So you're going to have to miss me for a little bit, which I think will be okay. Sometimes it's good to miss and then be ready. But I feel like since this is going a little slower than I had anticipated to that monetization, I'm just going to slow down, do some really good content, but I need to get some in the can. So with that being said, I'll be back maybe around mid-June with some new videos. I'm already filming things, but like I said, I would like to get maybe 3, 4, 5 videos of at least the dressmaking in the can, and then I'll have the little bonus videos, get a few of those in the can, and then I can just go ahead and start putting those out each week and not stress about having to film that week. Okay, so with that being said, I will see you in mid-June, but please like, subscribe, and comment on this video. That really helps me out, as you know. You can leave me a comment below, and I will try to answer that question. Some of you all have left me some really sweet comments below, and I really appreciate that, so keep those coming. And then if you would like to follow me on my other platforms, you can follow me on Instagram, you can follow me on Facebook, and then, of course, you can follow me here on YouTube. Now, if you are subscribed to me, you will know when I resume these videos. So please subscribe. But I do a lot of content over on Instagram. I'm actually filming a really fun video right now that is using my Instagram followers. So if you want to get into any of that party of any of those tasks that I ask my Instagram followers, then go follow me over there. I have a lot of fun videos that are just the costumes and close-ups of the detail of the beading. So if you're enjoying seeing this, but you want to see a little more detail, Instagram is really the place to see me there. Plus, I always let people know what's going on through my Instagram. Like if I'm having a sale on a costume, if I'm putting up a video, whatever it is. That's the best way for me to get my information out to my customers or to my followers, is through Instagram. So follow me there, please. And then as well, I have that Amazon storefront, which I will also link. I'll link it below in the description, but then I also link other little tools that I use in my descriptions throughout these videos. And what happens with that storefront is that it's different products that I use that I have put in that storefront so that you can buy them yourself. And when you buy them from my storefront, it gives me a little bit of kickback. So if you want to support me and you want to support the channel, then please, go buy a tube of V6000. Or if you like the little cutters that I use, they're called Tuffy by the Conso company. And it's a little rotary cutter. You can go and buy one of those. That 505 spray that I cannot live without, you can buy that. So I have a lot of goodies over there. So that is down below in the description, so you can see how to get to that store. And then in future videos, I will have the products linked if I've used it in a video and talked about it. So check that out, because that will help me out. And with that being said, I think that's it. Oh, if you want to check out my website, braggraphies.com, you can see my made-to-order costumes. You can see my custom costumes collection, and you can see how to order a custom costume. And you can buy my elastic on my website currently. So check that out. And then I think that is it. So I will see you in a few weeks once I get some videos built up and it leaves me a little less stressed. And then we will go from there and try to figure out this YouTube journey together. But thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of y'all. Y'all have been so kind to me. And it really boosts my energy when I get those kind comments, because sometimes I think, should I be doing this? And then I get kind comments and it's like, okay, there's somebody here that is finding value in this, and I'm going to keep going. So thank you. So please leave a comment or like, subscribe, check me out on my other places. With that being said, I'll see you in a couple weeks when I am a little less delirious and able to get you some good content. All right, see you then.